welcome to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. My name is Kyle Case, and I'll be your host on this amazing journey as we attempt to help you get the most out of your life. Joining me in the studio today is my co-pilot, Jeff Harding. Jeff, how are you today?
Kyle, I'm here. Actually, I'm doing well.
Good. That's good. This is a great time of year.
It is. It's not hot. You can go outside without worrying about heat stroke.
Yeah. Here in St. George, we have very, very hot summers, as we know, and we've turned a corner. It feels like we're going to brush right through fall and end up in our winter, which is like most everyone else's fall.
We skipped right through.
Yeah.
Yes, we dropped down to a high of 55 and a low of, it was like 35 this morning.
Yeah, and the week before that, it was 91.
Yeah, it's pretty warm.
So it's been great, but it's also a great time of year for the games. You know, a lot of times people say to us, I know you hear this all the time, I hear it all the time, well, so now the games are over, you're going to go on vacation, right?
Right.
And that's not exactly the way that it is. If we
is not.
Draw the curtain back just a little bit of what happens with the things at the office. The games get over. The week following that, we wrap everything up, we clean everything up, we put it in storage, we inventory everything, and then immediately following that, we get the opportunity to visit with all of our sports directors and committee heads and really get the lowdown on what happened at the games, and how things went, and the things that we did right. And then the things that we want to improve on as well.
Right, start planning for the next year.
Yeah, and so this is that time of year. So we've had the opportunity to do that, and it's been great so far, and we'll get, a lot more chances to visit with directors.
Well, just for example, today you spent, an hour in your office all day because the rest of the day you've been in meetings with sports directors?
Yeah, and it's great. It's great to say thanks to those people, those volunteers who give so much of their time and expertise. And also just learn how things went. They're closest to the action, and we get a chance to kind of get that recap. And ultimately, we feel that makes the games better.
Certainly
in the
does.
long run.
It certainly does.
And it does take a lot of time. We'll be doing these wrap-ups clear up through the end of November.
Right.
And then from there, we have a couple of weeks to kind of synthesize all that information.
Start budgeting.
We start our budget. We also put together our schedule. We don't usually have big changes in our schedule. But every once in a while, we have changes that we need to make, and so then we'll publish the schedule and get everything ready on the website, because on January 1st, we start team registration. Right. And so it's just this cycle that we go through.
Right. Some of our changes are very subtle but very important. Some are more obvious to folks, but we do tweak every year.
And if we didn't have these opportunities, these wrap-up
meetings, we couldn't do that.
We wouldn't know about a lot of those things. So it's a great time.
Yeah, it is.
But it's an exciting time.
Plus, it's great to reacquaint ourselves with our friends
and families, and who we don't get to see
minor details
for quite a while. But, but hey, I'm happy to introduce our guest today. We've got Trevor Smith. Trevor is the Regional Manager of Health Promotion and Wellness at Intermountain Dixie Regional Medical Center here in St. George, and he is an expert in exercise physiology, and he's working on his PhD, and he's also a return guest. We've had Trevor on the show a few times.
That's right.
And we're glad to have you, Trevor. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Happy to be here. Always a good time with the Huntsman World Senior Games, right?
Well, always. Well, especially if Trevor's around, because Trevor's
never had a bad time.
Trevor's the original good time guy.
Well, that's for sure. And Trevor is, like I said, he's just an expert in exercise physiology, and he's got a lot of expertise there. But today, we are going to talk about being the CEO of your own healthcare team.
That is what we're going to talk about. As I think about it, what is more important than your health? And the mission of Intermountain Health Care recently changed for the first time in 20 years. And it's helping people live the healthiest life possible, that oftentimes we really don't realize how important our health is until you don't have it. And then you're quickly reminded how important it is and how important it is to keep up with it.
And I also would add to that, we don't realize how much control or input we have on how healthy we are.
Exactly, especially on the front end. There's a lot of things that we can be doing that oftentimes we fail to do. It's like spending time with your family during the games. Right. They're neglected.
Yeah.
You don't want to neglect your health like you neglected your family. So do some lunges in the parking lot on your way to work.
Rub it in.
Well, I don't want to brag, but I did an average of 12 miles a day walking during the games.
I believe that.
Well, there's a lot going on, and Jeff's position is the director of operations, and he is on his feet. I mean, literally every minute of every day, and he's always taking care of things. And so he's, that this time of year is a time when Jeff is very, very active.
Yes, which is good, because I'm not always eating the best this time of year, because it's hard to eat your best when you're running and doing stuff. So you need to grab some candy here. Somebody's got treats there, and that looks good. I'm going to feed my body some bad fuel, but it makes my mouth happy.
At least you're burning some of those calories.
I am burning those calories off, friend.
And Jeff, part of being the CEO of your health.
Oh, here comes
like
I thought you might have a comment.
Like any good CEO is making great choices and making educated choices and taking accountability for those choices.
See if I ever share with you again. That's true. That is very true.
But, Trevor, you really hit it right on the head. It's so easy to neglect the front end things until it's too late. It's like that, the hangnail. You don't realize how much you need your finger until you've smashed it, or you have a hangnail and then you're rubbing it all the time. And you realize very quickly how important that is. And your overall health is the same thing.
Oh, certainly.
If you're feeling good, then you just keep on going.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, sometimes just because we're feeling good right now doesn't mean that we're necessarily taking care of the things that need to be taken care of.
Well, and even a step farther than that, sometimes we're doing things that are counterproductive, like my eating the sweets instead of eating well. You pay for it down the road.
Later on, for sure. So why is self-management so important to your overall health care as your own CEO?
Health management is so important because you have control over it. You're in charge. Oftentimes within the healthcare system, we go there expecting to be treated. We expect someone to do something to us or for us. But rather than entering that door kind of with those expectations, what if we did something beforehand? What if we took care of ourselves all year? We ate well. We exercised. We made proactive decisions that will improve our overall longevity. Now, research would suggest that our number one indicator to longevity, what would you guys think? It's not Christmas candy or Thanksgiving, Jeff.
You're reading my mind again, Trevor.
I saw it.
Actually, I was going to say exercise.
Okay, so I'm going to say, just because Jeff took my answer.
I'm sorry, Kyle.
The number one indicator is how flexible you are.
That is a good one. But physical activity is the number one indicator to overall longevity and especially cardiovascular fitness. That's the number one, followed up by your leg strength. Last year as a country, we spent $70 billion in falls-related expenditures. Wow. So being the CEO is managing that money, one. We'll leave that to hopefully you and not the feds.
Yeah.
And then number two, just looking for those opportunities to be proactive and take control of your life and be empowered to really change. I often ask clients, do you feel as good as you could?
Yeah.
So think about that. Do you feel as good as you could?
That is, and that's taking responsibility. How can I feel better?
It's easy, Jeff. It is easy to feel better.
That was a rhetorical question, but thank you
and
for
I turned it into not one. Feeling better is related to physical activity, good nutrition, reducing your stress risk factors, and having a positive perception of yourself. So something I want to state, Jeff, that any good CEO has good self-awareness, correct? So if you talked to your friends how you talk to yourself, would you have any friends?
Not likely.
We have to be positive.
And
the things that we say to ourselves, either about our body image or the food choices we make or social interactions, tend to be negative. So one thing I'm going to challenge you to do, Jeff, is every time you have a negative thought or a negative perception about yourself, that you're not good enough, you're not thin enough, you're not fast enough, state 3 positives.
Have you been reading my mind again?
I have.
He's been hitting all the nails right on the head.
So 3 positive things that you have going on in your life right now, what are they, Jeff?
3 positive things. I have a good job, I have a wonderful family, and my cars aren't breaking down.
You already feel better about yourself.
I do. I feel better.
And you took accountability, you showed self-awareness, and also self-restraint is huge in being the CEO of your own health. So I'm a huge fan of moderation.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat the whole cake, but it's okay to have a piece of cake and enjoy that and not punish yourself after that.
And if you keep it in the freezer, you can eat the whole cake, but do it over time.
That's true.
Always a loophole, Jeff.
No. That was being proactive. I'm thinking positive.
I'm picturing the old wedding cake, like the topper in your fridge for like a year. Yeah. It's never that good, but we all do it.
Okay, just ruin that one too. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's the same with physical activity that when I worked in cardiac rehab as an exercise physiologist, I'd have patients that just had open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Maybe they hadn't taken care of themselves for years. But I would ask them after open heart surgery and after rehabilitation, can you walk today for 5 minutes? And the answer was generally yes. Mm-hmm. Can you increase that tomorrow by 1 minute? Small changes compound just like interest and can make a huge impact that yields better health for you.
That is great advice. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. and we're visiting with Trevor Smith from Dixie Regional Medical Center, and he is talking with us about how to be the CEO of your own healthcare team. Now, we've talked about a lot of things that a CEO might do, managing your own healthcare team. Let's talk a little bit about the team part of it. No man is an island unto himself. So how can others become empowered members of this healthcare team as well?
Good question.
That is a great question. I think it's knowing your resources. And here in Southern Utah, we have amazing healthcare resources.
We really do.
Amazing healthcare that is nationally rated and close to home. But knowing who should be on your team, having a primary care doctor, getting your annual physical.
Going to see him?
Going to see them.
Who are you
getting
talking
your
to?
labs drawn. No finger pointing. Also,
now
a
I got
lot
to think of 3 positive things about myself.
Sorry about that.
We'll let you think about that. Also knowing so most individuals don't know that your insurance often covers 5 visits with a dietitian free with no copay. You could be meeting with a dietitian about your overall health, nutrition planning, meal planning, intuitive eating, and then also finding someone that inspires you to exercise. Having those key members in your life that you feel good to be around. We all have that person, right? You leave that situation or a meeting with them, and you're like, wow, I feel really good about myself and positive that I'm going to go and conquer the world.
Yeah.
So building that team that really builds you up in a collaborative manner and wants what's best for you, both healthcare, both family members and friends, community members, and having kind of a purpose. For Jeff, you said your job. You said that was one of your 3 good things. It's because it's a positive environment for you and you enjoy what you're doing and you're empowered and inspired by the work. I would imagine being at the Huntsman World Senior Games, being around all of those athletes doing amazing things, you couldn't help but be inspired.
It's hard to not be inspired.
That is those 2 weeks. I talked to so many people who say, I'm so motivated after these 2 weeks of the games to go out and exercise. And then all the athletes go home and the inspiration sort of dissipates. But
you look at them, and if they can do it, why can't you? They are a good role model of health, and they're taking control. They're in charge of their health.
They are.
And they had a training team to do that. When you think about that, you talk about the role of a CEO and having everyone around them. Your average CEO has operations officers, a CFO. Who do you have to help support you and build you up? Look for those interactions that are meaningful and positive.
So just having that, really the positive outlook is so crucial to your overall health and wellness. A lot of times we think that our health and our health is only related to the way, our physicality is responding, but there's so much positive energy that comes from, like you said, just positive thoughts.
Exactly. So I often relate it with clients to being on an airplane. When you're on an airplane and the flight attendant is going through the safety speech that you've zoned out and you have your headphones in or whatever you're doing, they always ask you that when that oxygen mask comes down in case of an emergency, you put it on you first.
Right.
And then you can help everyone else around you. Oftentimes, if you're not taking care of you, you can't help anybody else. You can't inspire anyone else. So that's something we have to do. Self-management is hugely important to our longevity, our health, and having positive perceptions of who we are and what we do.
Very true.
And then surrounding yourself by this team, this group of people that can help you accomplish your goals.
Yeah, surround yourself with great people that inspire you to be the best person you can be, that really want you to be healthy and care about you. But then also, any good CEO knows when to fire the bad person on the team, right?
Right.
Well, you hope so.
Are there people in your life that are negatively affecting your health or that are not improving or building you up? Now, some of those people you can't remove off the team, right?
Right.
Because they're family members or people you have to have close. But in that case, how can you have the people that really inspire you be closer to you and have more contact with you?
Or give greater heed to them than the others.
Yeah, maybe it's a phone call to a friend that doesn't live close but always makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Or Skyping with a family member. Or spending an extra 5 minutes with that athlete that just finished the 500-yard dash.
Yeah, yeah.
So are there any tools that, since we've been talking about me and my weaknesses, are there any tools that I can employ to help myself become an active member of the team?
You know, Jeff, I think the first tool and the most important tool is educating yourself. There's a lot of resources out there to educate yourself, but every hospital has a health information specialist. Here at Dixie Regional, we have a medical librarian who's also our health information specialist that can help you get national research about what you need, about health risk factors you may have, or about a diagnosis you may have, or the medications you're currently on. starting to seek out that education. And I need to give that the caveat. You need to be careful what you Google.
Yeah.
And be careful with your sources, that if you're getting health information from the hospital, you at least know it's been validated and that it's from a reliable source and that it's pertinent to what you're doing, rather than finding it on Vogue or wherever you find it.
You mean everything I see on the internet isn't true? Abraham Lincoln said it's true. Whatever you see on the internet is true.
There's no magic pill that will make you 20, Jeff. I know you've tried.
Actually, I'd rather be 40 than 20.
But that is so true. A lot of times it is hard to find that information, and we have so much information at our fingertips, but filtering through what is relevant and what is just frankly made up can be a real challenge. And so I love what you just said. If you're getting information from someone at your hospital, you may not agree with it. It may not be in line with your belief systems, but at least it's been validated through some semblance or some form of research.
Well, and for me, thinking of a hospital as being a tool is a little bit of a shift in paradigm, because for me, it's using the tool analogy, it would be like the hospital is the auto body shop where the tools are used on you rather than being a tool itself.
So here at Dixie Regional, we're trying to change that focus. That I told you our mission's helping people live the healthiest life possible, but we're kind of shifting the perception that the hospital is a great place that you can come for resources for health promotion and wellness to improve your longevity. We have health information specialists. We have a great LiVeWell Center that can help you get well, stay well, and live well. We have registered dietitians. We have all of these resources some are free, that are at the tips of your fingertips if you just take control and go for it.
So you don't have to be sick to go to the hospital.
No, heavens no.
See, and that's such a mind shift, really, and it's so important. I think that you continue to get that message out there, because most of us are definitely operating under Jeff's premise of
your former premise.
The only time that you would ever go to the hospital or to your doctor is if things are broken or if they're out of whack. And I love how Intermountain has really shifted the whole philosophy of healthcare, and it's become healthcare rather than sick care.
Exactly.
And I love that.
We're moving out of the disease model into the preventative model, where we want to inspire you and empower you to live well.
Hence, LiVeWell Center.
The LiVeWell Center is a great resource here in southern Utah.
And it truly is. And Jeff, we know
we've
because
been there.
We've been through the program, and we've had the opportunity to visit with Trevor about some of the issues that we're all dealing with as a staff. And it was an incredibly eye-opening experience for all of us, and it's made a difference.
It has. And when I went there, excuse me, and they did an assessment, and then they took you in and gave you some classes to help you learn some exercise and things you can do. And I expected it to be kind of like the CrossFit, grunting and groaning and yelling and screaming, and you can do more, but Trevor did exactly what he said just a few minutes ago. He said, "Can you do a couple more?" And I could.
We really try to have a reasonable philosophy that you can stick with, something that's achievable that you can really do, and set those small milestones and just kind of expand it little by little. That we're not trying to be a fad. We're not trying to be a magic pill. We're trying to facilitate lifestyle change to really help you spend those extra years with your family and friends. No one dreams of retiring to a lazy boy watching television all day.
Right.
We dream of retiring doing those things that we've worked so hard for.
That we've always wanted to do our whole lives.
That we've always wanted to do. And those are the stories, just like at the Huntsman World Senior Games, that's what's inspiring. You're seeing these senior athletes really living.
They are. They really are.
And it really is. It's that, like we said at the beginning of the show, it's surrounding yourself by that inspiration. So one of the hardest things, I think, for people, Trevor, is to just get started. I think we all know. I don't think it surprises anybody when someone says you should exercise, you should eat, healthy, you should surround yourself with positive. That's not really new, earth-shattering information. Starting is the hard part. What advice do you have for someone who's just, listen to the show or maybe just on that verge? We're getting ready for a new year with resolutions, whatever it is. How do you take that first step and then keep moving forward?
Oftentimes when we're making a decision to make a healthier lifestyle choice, it's like the best kept secret. So I'm gonna diet, but I'm not gonna tell anyone in case it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking about what if it doesn't work out, what if we thought about what if it does work out,
or when it does
work out, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And having a coach, having a team. So what we do at the LiVeWell Center is we've got a multidisciplinary staff where, Kyle, you might need to exercise, but you might not be interested in it. But maybe you'll meet with a dietitian, or maybe you'll meet with a health coach. Or, Jeff, you need to meet with a dietitian, but maybe you're willing to exercise. Let's start there. It's a first step.
Right.
and then we can build upon that success. It's like a snowball going down a hill that we can build, and it can get bigger, and you can become better and build more self-confidence. But starting with those small, reasonable steps and letting your social network know what you're doing so they can work to inspire you, because they're going to ask, Kyle, did you work out this morning?
Yeah.
Or even just, how's it going?
Exactly.
I mean, just it's not judgmental. It's just asking for how's it going, being part of your life and being positive.
And the barriers you're facing, chances are someone else is facing that same barrier. It's not so unique that no one has faced this before. Many people have started a diet and stopped.
And I guess that's the last thing. We're running a little short on time now, but that's the last thing that I thought maybe we would just really emphasize is that we've talked about taking control of your own healthcare and being the CEO of that team and managing all that. And that's so important. At the same time, you can be that supporting member on someone else's team.
Which oftentimes, I mean, we're in November, which to me is a month of gratitude.
Yeah.
Oftentimes doing something for someone else is often more rewarding than doing it for you.
Absolutely.
So helping someone else, building them up. If you need to walk or you need to exercise, I'm sure a coworker would love someone to do it with. So just asking them, just engaging in that conversation is huge.
Fantastic. Well, we've got just 1 minute left. Any last minute advice, Trevor, that you would share?
You know, I think it's just empowering and it's inspiring to see individuals like those at the Huntsman World Senior Games be great role models. As people are living longer and having more opportunities, I think that for someone like me in their 30s, it's fantastic to see that I want to be that guy. I want to do that. And you know what? To do that, I need to start today.
Yeah. Some of the best advice that I ever got from an athlete was just that right there. But my wife and I were here. It was our first year at the games. We were out at some of the venues, and a gentleman came up, and they just struck up a conversation, and that's exactly what he said. If you want to be in shape in your 40s, you need to start in your 30s. If you want to be in shape in your 50s, you better be in shape in your 40s, and so forth and so on. And again, it's just little steps.
It's great advice.
Once again, Trevor, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks. Been great.
Appreciate it.
Me.
Well, Jeff, as we said at the beginning of the show, the games are over, and we are actually working on next year. If you're wondering about results at the games, you can see those results at www.seniorgames.net. And if you're wondering about next year's dates, which some people are already.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
The games will be October 3rd through the 15th in 2016, so plan to attend. Team registration begins on January 1st of 2016, and individual registration starts on March 1st. So those dates seem like they're a ways away, but they're coming up.
They're closer than you think.
Yeah, they're coming right up. So get ready for that. And again, we'd love to have you come and be a part of the games. It's our 30th anniversary.
Big 3-0.
We're going to be talking a lot about that, but 30th
Almost as old as you, Trevor.
Almost. Well, tune in next and every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time on AM 1450 or FM 93.1 for the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. For those of you who are outside the area, you can listen to this and any previous episode right from our website. Once again, that is www.seniorgames.net. And Jeff, here is our inspirational thought for the day from one of the greatest orators of this or any time, Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes, sir.
He said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But do whatever you have to do to keep moving forward.